Let's bring in Republican Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Governor DeSantis, you got a lot coming your way. New York Post, the headline, I found it so interesting, the new trend. Florida locals rush to buy homes over fears New Yorkers fleeing Mamdani will flood the market. So it's Floridians buying homes before the New Yorkers get there.
Well, look, I think that New York City voters made an own goal on their own city by electing this guy. Interestingly, on Thursday, we celebrate in Florida Victims of Communism Day. It's in state law. And I was down in Miami, and we were commemorating. And I had a lot of these Cuban exiles tell me, like when they were listening to Mamdani, it sounded awful familiar with what Fidel Castro was promising back in the late 1950s. It never works out well. He's tried all these things. All the things he claims he's going to do have been tried in the past, and the results are going to be bad. And he talks about affordability. Government has caused a lot of the affordability crisis. Just look at higher education. Since I've been governor in Florida, we have not allowed in-state tuition to raise 1 penny. So you can go to our state universities for about $6,300 as a Florida resident. If you look nationally, what is the cost of a typical private university? It's exploded because the federal government has put in a lot of the loans and all the things that they've done. So I think what he's going to do is going to exacerbate the problem. It's not going to make the problem better. And that's supposed to be his core agenda item. But then you also step back. I can tell you the people that have come to Florida since I've been governor, and it's not just New York, it's Chicago, it's San Francisco, Los Angeles, you name it, places where these cities have really decayed. The number one reason is public safety. And this is a mayor-elect. He hates the NYPD. He wanted to abolish the agency. He wants to send social workers for 911 calls. If he institutes those policies, it will be devastating. People will long for the days of people like de Blasio, who everyone said, did such a poor job, because I think he's way further left than anyone they've ever had.
Without question. I'm so glad that you brought up Victims of Communism Day, because I want to put up a poll that I found. And there are many polls like this. 6 out of 10 adults under 30 said they have a favorable view of socialism. That's a big problem. Do you think the answer is forcing education on this issue in states? Should other states follow your lead of Victims of Communism Day?
Well, I think there's a couple. I think there's two things, Kayleigh. I think education is one. Part of that is the higher education system. I mean, we used to say there are more communists on the Harvard faculty than in all of Eastern Europe. It just has gone very far left. We've worked really hard in Florida to correct that. I think we're doing it right on there. So I do think some of this is a function of education, but particularly higher education. But I also think when they say they prefer socialism to capitalism, some of the things they've seen in our economy in their lifetimes really isn't true capitalism. I mean, bailing out the Wall Street banks and what happened, corporate welfare, cronyism, we've seen that in various forms in the last, 20 years and throughout American history. So I think that some of the things that they're told is capitalism is actually not free enterprise. It's a perversion of capitalism. So certainly a free enterprise system is produced far superior results than a command economy, whether it's socialism or communism. But ultimately, they're going to see with what they see. And we've just got to make sure as conservatives, that we're standing for limited government and market economics.
Governor DeSantis, last question for you. And I'm going to take issue with more communists at Harvard. Hey, I think there are more at Yale where you went, but I don't think either are enviable. I think what you're doing in Florida with education and the universities is great. A poll you put up of Floridians, what Florida should do in response to Mamdani, hysterical. 48.2% want to build a border wall around Florida, 38% tariff. Only 13% want to recruit New Yorkers. So are we going to see a Florida border wall? I ask in jest.
Well, I always tell people, we joke around about that stuff. I was like, because some people are serious. I was like, you do need to read the U.S. Constitution, and all Americans have the same privileges and immunities. And so you have a right to pick up and go. So I think Floridians, on the one hand, they're proud that Florida's been a state that people have looked to. People have viewed us as the refuge of sanity. But on the flip side, it's like, there can be benefits when you have people coming in, but it also causes we've got to build more schools. We've had to put a lot of money into roads and all these other things. So I think that there's a balance, and I think a lot of our residents are just concerned that, hey, we don't want too much too quick. But all that being said, in the United States of America, people do have a right to pick up and move. I am actually not empowered to set up that type of system. So we'll see what happens. But I do think it's good for the country to have these cities succeeding and not failing. And we've had so many cities in the last 10 years in the United States fail. I've been able to see that a front row seat because people report to me why they came to Florida. But I want New York City to do well. I want Chicago to do well. These are some of the best cities in the history of our country, and they've just fallen on hard times, and it's all because of left-wing governance.
Governor DeSantis, you've set a great example of free market capitalism and what it can do in the state of Florida. Thank you.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.